Hi, I'm Eric Lanask. We're here in New York at this year's Telecom Exchange event. I'm talking now with Sonus's Mick Conrad. Mick, thanks for joining me. Good to see you.
Thanks. Great to be here with you.
A lot of things that we can and have talked about when it comes to what Sonus is doing. One of the things that we haven't spent a lot of time on is the SDN market. What's Sonus's interest in SDN and kind of what do you see generally happening around SDN?
Great question. So, as you all should know, Sonus is an SBC company. We recently acquired another company that has put us into the SDN space, and we're very excited about this space. As most people know, SDN has been around for a while. It's a real technology. It's been used by Google, Facebook. That's where it sort of started, right, with white label software-defined networks. That technology is now coming out to other applications, both into service providers and into enterprises. And there's a lot of great use cases in terms of network optimization and application optimization that Sonus's technology is bringing to the market today.
So what are some of the challenges that you're seeing that you're kind of helping address with the new acquisition and technologies?
Right. So really there's two separate markets that we see at the high level for software-defined networking. The enterprise space and sort of the service provider co-location space. And the enterprise space, it's all about SD-WAN. How do you optimize your WAN? Be that branch-to-branch WAN, headquarters to cloud WAN, the access space, or within the enterprise data center to data center. Within the service provider space, it's very similar. It's the same technology, software-defined networking, applied to what the service providers want to do or the colo guys want to do, which is to provide new services. Network as a service is a big buzzword in the industry today. How do you provide new revenue streams for service providers by allowing their customers to get data center connectivity and colocation when they need it and be able to optimize bandwidth between data centers. So that's network as a service for service providers as a revenue generating event. And they can also use software-defined networking in what you would consider a traditional service provider space, such as voice and unified communications, which is one of Sonus's core strengths, right? That's where we started, is how to allow service providers to optimize network utilization for unified communications applications. So we're seeing that as a place that people are starting to get interested in, not just in the service provider space, but really also in the enterprise space. One of the things that we've demoed recently is integration to Microsoft Skype for Business. So what that means is we're able to adapt an underlying network fabric to the needs of Microsoft Skype for Business through their UC-SDN API. So when a new voice or video session starts up, the network can be adapted to the needs of that session in terms of bandwidth, in terms of quality of experience, so that an enterprise or a service provider that happens to be hosting that particular application can allow their user to get the best experience that is possible in the market today.
Sonus has obviously a legacy in the service provider, the carrier space, also a very, very strong understanding of the enterprise space. How does your sort of legacy product set and what you're doing now with the enterprise differentiate the marketplace, especially when it comes to driving SDN?
So a couple of things. First, I'm going to talk about specifically our SDN product, which we call NAS IQ, so Network as a Service Intelligence. And that product itself, we believe, is differentiated both in the way we understand a network topology, our path compute engine, which is the actual intelligence of our controller that allows the best path to be ascertained through a network, right? So the product itself has specific differentiation points in the way we approach an SD-WAN or NAS solution that our competitors do not. We also have very good integration. We have integration to OpenFlow, where we have an open architecture. We also have great OSS-BSS integration into an existing either enterprise OSS-BSS or service provider OSS-BSS. So that's from a NAS IQ SDN perspective. Now, Sonus brings to the table, as you mentioned, years of experience in taking a core application, which 20 years ago there was only one application over the cloud, over the network, and it was voice. But now everything is moving to the cloud, right? Where do you go for your CRM? Well, most of you probably use Salesforce. Not everybody. I'm not doing a plug for Salesforce, but most of you probably use Salesforce. For your personal stuff, you go to Dropbox. You go to OneDrive from Microsoft for your personal data. All data, enterprise and personal, is moving to the cloud. So how do you make sure that those applications, which are all very different, but they're all packets streaming over an access link to some data center in the cloud, are optimized, secured, right? Well, you need a company that has experience in securing packets and optimizing packets. Well, we're better than somebody that's been doing that for the last 20 years, specifically in the voice and unified communications world. Now we can take that and link that into the underlying network control and make sure that those two layers, sort of the application layer, is linked into and optimized by the underlying network layer. And that's really we believe, our core differentiation and value proposition going forward, both in the SDN space, where we believe we have a very strong product and a different approach, and then also in our ability to link it up to the application layer in a way that none of our competitors can credibly point to.
For the network operator community, for those who are actively looking to implement NFV, what's the relationship between SDN and NFV, and how is what you're doing helping them achieve their goals?
So there's a linked relationship in most cases. The word NFV and SDN, I was on a webinar yesterday where some people think it's the same thing, and it's not quite. So my take on it is that software-defined networking is the ability to adapt your network and change your network based on the needs of an application. Ideally, in the future world, and most service providers are moving there, as well as enterprises, that future world of applications is virtualized, right? Be that in a hypervisor, in a single instance, or be that in a cloud in some sort of elastic orchestrated instance, right? In either case, what you have is the application that is residing on top of the network. Those two concepts of being able to adapt the network, software-defined networking, to an application that can get spun up and orchestrated when and where you need it, they work very powerfully together. They can work separately, but they work very powerfully together. And from Sonus' point of view, we have both pieces of that. We have the underlying SDN controller functionality and the network adaptability with our acquisition and in our NAS IQ product, as well as we've been working over the last years. We are the premier SBC policy virtualization company. I mean, our entire portfolio can be purchased either as an appliance or as a virtual instance. And we're moving to the cloud, and we already have a lot of customers actually using our applications, be that our SBC or our policy engine, in public clouds such as Amazon.
Excellent. Mick, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.